Okay, so I'm not going to edit this. We're just going to go straight through, and I'm going to post it.
That's perfectly fine.
So, what were you trying to tell me?
Okay, so at work, because it's there's some manual labor involved in what's going on. We'd have to do like team stretches at the beginning, and one of them is the thing where like you grab your ankle and you pull it up so like your heel's touching your butt,
Yeah.
so like you're stretching like your thigh or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Well, with like the first week we were doing this, we would call out random people to do the stretches, and it was the first time anybody had done it in like a week, like the whole grabbing the ankle thing.
Mhm.
And I was in a silly mood, so when the guy did it, and he was like, "Okay, everybody, grab your ankle and do that," I was like, I know this." So I grabbed my ankle and I grabbed the back of my head and I started doing that ab workout dance move thing. And
I never thought of that as an ab workout.
It's
Yeah.
the same principle.
Yeah,
Like if you're working the
I
abs,
get it. I just
yeah.
never thought of it that way.
I don't know what the actual name of the thing
Yeah.
is, so that's why I call it that. But so I did that, and then there were people were laughing to where they couldn't stretch, and so the guy who was leading it was trying to ignore me, and everybody else laughing. He goes, "Okay, do the other foot," and I was like, "Oh, I can do that too," and I flipped and I started doing it again, and so now it's like a thing. Well, one of my coworkers has that thing on the phone where you can get like the little dancing creature.
Snapchat.
It's that has that app, that thing
Yeah,
on it. Where you can, like,
the
dance
dancing
with the
hot.
little-
Yeah, the dancing hot dog was a Snapchat thing.
Okay. So, well, it's a reindeer, and
Okay,
it
yeah.
does the same dance move.
I have a friend who posted a video of it's like always one of those things, but he kept like turning, so it would be somewhere else. He'd be like, "Oh God, no!" Like it was just haunting him. Shout out to Matt Rain
Yeah.
if he listens. He doesn't.
So I go up to like the vision department of our store because I needed to get on our company's like internet service thing.
Yeah.
And so she showed me like the dancing deer, and it does the same exact thing. It's like, oh, okay, well, and so I'm there doing me and the fake deer thing in the video we're tandem doing that dance move, and she put it up on Facebook.
Yeah.
So that's my story.
And then you found $5.
And then I found $5. I did find $5. You're right.
You
I did. Yes.
No, it's a cool video. I should post it with this episode.
It's hers, and she has it set to only her friends can see it. So I don't
well,
know about
I
that.
guess not.
But I'll talk to her.
I'll just
about
post that.
making it.
I'll post that video of you singing "Dominate the Donkey" instead,
Oh,
because
God.
this is our Christmas episode. So,
Yeah,
welcome to
true.
You Have to Watch This podcast. I'm Alan,
And I'm Ryan.
and on that note, we're going to get right into things.
Yes.
Our Christmas episode. It's a wonderful time of year where people
Have no time to do anything.
but find time to watch movies,
Yes.
like holiday movies.
True.
Like last year we did "It's a Wonderful Life." And
Yes.
This year we're doing Gremlins because it's
Why
a
not?
holiday movie.
It is a holiday movie.
Maybe not as much as Die Hard is, and we can have this debate here in a bit. But yeah, so I had never seen Gremlins before
Yeah.
until the other night,
Mhm.
and this wasn't even planned.
Yeah.
My wife and I were trying to find holiday stuff on Netflix,
Mm-hmm.
and we found Gremlins, and I was like, I've never seen that. I could watch that.
Yeah.
And so we watched it, and
Did you realize how much the Christmas time, like the time of year of it being Christmas, did you know how like intense it was within the storyline?
I didn't know it was a Christmas movie until we sat down to watch it.
Great.
I honestly didn't know, because I knew a little bit about them. I knew about like, what's Gizmo?
Yeah.
I knew Gizmo. I knew they turned into things if you got them wet.
Yeah.
I know it was written by Chris Columbus.
Yeah.
Like that's what I knew about Gremlins, and that they're Legos now, and that Lego game that has every property ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we just sat down to watch it, and then the next night I saw that you and your wife were watching it. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, we should do an episode on this.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those. I've never really thought about it because I kind of assumed that you'd seen it,
No,
and that's why I never brought it up.
no, I'm pretty sure it was on the list. Like I'm pretty sure it's still on the
It
list.
was?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now it's off the list.
It's off the list now.
It's off the
Well,
list
it's not
now.
off the list until we finish this episode.
So if you're listening to this,
Yes.
it's now officially off the list.
So when's the first time you saw Gremlins?
Oh, I don't know. When I was like 8, 9.
Okay.
Yeah, I was extremely young when I
Did
saw
it
this.
scar you like it scarred everyone else that they had to
Not-
make PG-13 a thing?
Not really, because the humor of it kind of counteracted like the creepiness of it. But what I find most interesting, which I found out like recently, compared to being 8, well, timeline wise, a couple of years ago I found this out that the original script, this was supposed to be a legit horror movie, like not a comedy.
It comes across that way.
It was originally set up to be a legit horror, like not.
You could make
goofiness.
the argument that it is.
Yeah.
No. You already did. My wife's trying to buzz in, but I'm not editing it, so we're going straight through. It almost you can definitely see the horror film aspects of it.
Yeah.
Like, I would say it's a horror comedy in that order.
Yeah.
Mostly just because of the gore, because there's a lot of blood in this.
There is a lot of blood, but you have to also take in part the year, or not the year, but like the era that this movie was made in. Because
Yeah.
you've got a lot of movies from that time frame. I mean, from that time period.
Yeah.
Where you've got movies that had comparable to nowadays pretty light ratings for what the content was.
Yeah. I don't know what she's handing you.
Yeah, yeah. It was okay. So we've got we've got I guess help or we have our intern.
No, here. Come here. Say what you want to say to the microphone. Yes. If you're going to interrupt the show, you're going to. I have the microphone, and you will listen to every damn word I have to say. Take the microphone.
My commentary was just that, yes, it was supposed to be a horror movie. Like, the mom was originally written to be beheaded.
Yeah.
And there was a lot more like that. But it was not ever meant to be made. Christopher Columbus wrote it as a spec script just so, like, his name was out there. But he never thought it was going to be made. It never meant for it to be made. So
Yeah. It's one of those things. Yeah. So like
Love
the
you.
original concept of it. So I'll be a little bit correct in what I said. The original like right through of the idea was supposed to be a horror. And then of course you've got other people looking at their stuff and be like, you know what? We could just twist this a little bit and we could make this into a picture.
Because if you look at it compared to other things Christopher Columbus has done, I'm guessing she's saying she's going to kill me behind my back.
Yeah.
Gizmo was the bad guy
Originally.
originally. I can see that.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of is because he's
He's cute and cuddly.
he's the mother of all the chaos.
No.
He saves the day.
I am not going there with you. No, he is not bad in this movie.
I'm not
he's
saying
not the
he's
bad
bad.
guy.
But he's
not the villain either.
He's responsible for it all.
No.
He
The
can't control it.
The son's younger friend, who didn't know how to
Corey
reach around
Feldman?
a cup of water, is the
Corey
villain in
Feldman?
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who doesn't know how to reach around a cup of water?
Corey Feldman.
Exactly.
That's why he's not acting anymore. That's a whole nother thing.
That's a whole other thing. Anyway.
We're not getting into that.
we don't have that much time.
Speaking of knocking over glasses of water, I almost knocked over mine.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I guess Christopher Columbus. I can't think of any horror movies that he's done, unless you count Home Alone, because that's almost a horror movie too.
How did we get into this?
Because he wrote it and he directed Home Alone.
Okay. Well,
And if you really want me to get nitpicky just to piss you off, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone is a horror. No, it's not.
no, it's not. Stop it.
That's all. That's the only. What else did he do? Baby's Day Out. What?
Adventures in Babysitting. Oh yeah. There we go. That movie kind of creeped me out when I was a kid.
Really?
It did.
I haven't seen it in such a long time.
I tried watching it a couple.
I know
years
they remade
ago.
it on Disney Channel.
Hmm?
I know they remade it on Disney Channel
Yeah.
for some reason.
There's some content in Adventures in Babysitting that like I rewatched it when I was like I said, I rewatched it a couple years ago. And I was like, hang on a second. I watched this when I was 10.
Yeah.
I watched this and this content. We're like, well, but whatever. It flies right over kids' heads. But anyway,
Yeah.
back to Gremlins.
Yes, back to Gremlins.
Back to Gremlins. When I saw it as a kid, the humor aspect of it and the whole thing with it being like it was one of the first movies I saw where I could actually comprehend this creature doesn't exist. This is like it's not. This isn't something to be afraid of because this isn't something that can actually happen.
Yeah.
Prior to that, watching something like this, if I was younger, it'd be one of those things where it's like, this is scary because I don't know any better to know that this can't happen.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's, I think that was part of it. But another part of just the characters in it were nice. There was a lot of good, for me anyway, personally, there's a lot of good characters in this movie.
So you've got the son who has Gizmo.
Mm-hmm. You've got the inventor father that always tends to screw up with his inventions.
Yeah.
Totally good-natured. He really wants to try to make something that'll actually benefit people.
Yeah,
that's his motivation.
I really thought at one point that his motivation was going to turn into, how do we sell this? Because it seemed like he was trying to, like, there was a moment where he's like, oh, people would love to have these as pets.
Yeah, but he talks about that at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Before he realizes what's all involved with actually, like, taking care of the thing.
No, I'm saying, like, when... Yeah, I feel like there was a moment at the house that made me think he was going to keep going that route. Like once they first multiplied.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's a beat there that makes it seem that way.
But then they realized that they were a bit mischievous.
Yeah, just a bit.
More than mischievous, actually.
Yeah. Little hell wreckers.
Downright evil.
Yeah. Gremlins, if you will.
Yeah, well, that eventually turned into that. But it's... Oh, it's the one
pranksters.
thing, though, that a lot of people that I know who really like this movie tend to have issue with me because I actually like the second one more.
I've never seen the second one.
I like Gremlins 2
All
more.
I know about the second one is that Leonard Maltin, the movie critic, is in it.
Yeah.
That's all I know about it.
And part of one of the reasons why a lot of people don't like it is just the craziness of the second one because it happens in New York.
Yeah.
As
you do with Christopher Columbus sequels.
Yeah. It happens in New York. Both of the main characters, the son and his girlfriend, or who eventually turns into his girlfriend, the girl in it, they end up working at this like high-tech facility for the year that it was made in, where like the elevators talk and this other stuff. But the company that they work for has been like messing around with creatures. So one of the floors of this building has like a genetics lab in it. So you can only imagine what happens.
Yeah.
Like you've got like gremlin spiders walking around, gremlins that are covered in hair. You've got a gremlin that ingests or gets injected with like female hormone. So it turns into like
I've seen pictures of that
female
on the internet.
gremlin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen that on the internet.
So, and there's a scene where one of the like antagonist characters gets caught and it gets locked in a men's bathroom with it.
Oh God.
So, I mean, granted, whatever.
You're not selling me on this movie.
Like I said, a lot of people hate the second one, but I like it because I find it extremely entertaining.
I mean, it sounds entertaining. It's on Amazon. I think I saw it was there.
What, the second one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because somehow my Apple TV knew that I watched Gremlins 1 on Netflix, so the Amazon's app like, hey, here.
What did you think of the how the like the rich woman died? Like pretty much the most evil person in town.
The Mr. Burns.
Yeah.
Mrs. Burns.
Yeah, the Mrs. Burns character.
Tim Taylor's mother-in-law from Home Improvement.
Pretty much.
Or is it his mom? I'm pretty sure it was his mother-in-law.
Okay. So are you saying that these movies are in the same?
No,
that the TV show and the movies
because
are in the same universe?
Home Improvement takes place in the 90s, and this is definitely in the 80s.
Ah, whatever.
So, And they aged her up in this.
Oh yeah.
Like she's definitely playing older than she actually is in this.
Mm-hmm.
So wait, she goes in the chair and then just flies out the window.
Yeah. She gets flung out the window from the lift chair.
That was probably my favorite death in the whole thing. Because the whole time she had like a Wicked Witch of the West in Kansas vibe. Like, I'm going to take your dog.
Yeah.
Like riding her bike. Like, that's what she reminded me of. And
Yeah.
I don't know if that was intentional or not.
Well,
but I definitely got Wizard of Oz vibes from that.
Well, one of the things that I like about her character is that I have a hard when they create a character that you're not supposed to like.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they purposely write somebody who's like that. There's a very fine line with me that either it's like, oh, okay, this person is supposed to be somebody you're not supposed to like, but I don't really not like them because I still know that they're a fictional character.
The car's out front. I'm just waiting for her to realize it.
That even though that it's a fictional character, that I still don't feel that like I hate this person.
Yeah.
But then if you go too far, it's just you're overdoing it. Like nobody's this horrible.
Yeah.
This character though that they did for her, for me, was dead on because it was right there where I know this is fake, but I really want to reach through the screen and punch her because it's actually making me angry. Like the way that she was acting, especially at the beginning, where she's saying all these nasty things, and then she's yelling at him, and then she'll go, "Oh, my heart," you know, because I've seen people actually do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like to where it was the way that she's acting isn't out of the realm of possibility.
No, it's just enough that you hate her.
Yeah.
And maybe not to the point where you want to see her get thrown out a window.
Oh no, it does for me.
But okay.
I wanted worse.
Do you know who the one cop is?
Oh.
He's from Breaking Bad. Jonathan Banks. The old guy. Oh, what's his name on Breaking Bad? In Better Call Saul. What the hell's his name?
Oh, yeah. Now you're
what's
talking
his
about
name?
the Hitman.
Yeah. What's his name, though?
I forget his name.
I can't remember. It's
okay.
one of the days. I'm not looking it up. Cause we don't have time.
It's fine.
But yeah, I was surprised to see him in this. And because my wife pointed it out. I was like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
And I looked it up. I was like, well, holy shit.
Yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot of people in this movie because it's a whole town. So there's a lot of people, and I love the corniness of this movie.
I never realized how important this movie is in building the whole Spielberg 80s nostalgia that we're in right now, because you definitely have like the whole, like, it reminded me a lot of elements of Stranger Things with the teacher, at least.
Oh yeah.
Because in this last season you had them go in, spoiler alert, you had them go in with Dart to the teacher, and then
like show it,
like they decide not to show it to them, because they were worried that something like what happens in Gremlins would happen. And I like that because it helps put together the puzzle of things in Stranger Things that don't make sense to me. Like, I've seen The Goonies, I've seen Back to the Future, I've seen all this other stuff that they make references to.
Yeah,
I haven't seen this, so this just adds another piece to that puzzle, which I liked. Like, I'm glad that I'm finally catching up on things that came out in the 80s. And it definitely feels like a Spielberg produced thing. Like, it's not something you would see him direct, but like it's up there with like Goonies and Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Speaking of Back to the Future, it's shot in the same lot.
Yeah.
So the clock tower is in it at least at one point.
Yeah. It's the same center of town, pretty much.
Yeah. At one point, they're in the diner, and I know exactly which scene it was too. The scene where she does her whole monologue about why she hates Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm 95% sure that's the diner from Back to the Future.
Okay. Do you want to know something that's do you want to know another reason why I like the second Gremlins compared to the first one?
Why?
If I'm correct, she does the monologue again.
Okay.
but it's about President's Day.
Oh God.
And it has to do about some guy looking exactly like Abraham Lincoln.
Oh God. Now I kind of want to watch.
You want to see Gremlins too.
I do.
You really want to see
Now
Gremlins
let's
too.
talk about this monologue a little bit.
Okay.
I think the only reason she's in this movie is for this monologue, and it makes no fucking sense for the rest of it. Like, one thing we've talked about a lot, is like slowing down the story.
Yeah.
It completely stops the story, dead halt, and it just stays on it for probably 5 minutes. And he's just standing there like, okay, I'm sorry.
I feel like that's intentional though, because if I'm correct, that's when that's when the Gremlins are like almost taking over the entire town, and they're finally having like a break.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's supposed to be in there, simply with the way that she's been acting throughout the entire film.
But she's not in it that much before that. Like, so you meet her at the bank, which they both work at,
Yeah.
and then she's also working at this bar.
The bar that
And then do we see her in between then? Like maybe one scene?
I think
But then it's mostly just the kid and the Gremlins.
Yeah.
And then once the Gremlins are going crazy, then she's giving them alcohol.
Mhm.
And by the way, why would you give a Gremlin alcohol?
Because they ask for it.
Yeah, but you got a card.
That's part
Like,
of what Gremlins are. They're party
what
animals.
kind of decade was the 80s that they could just get away with this?
Here's the thing.
I'm kidding. I know.
You know the company that I work for.
Yeah.
Okay. You
Yeah, I
used to
can
work
read.
for them too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just got back, so that's why I'm wearing it. But anyway, if creatures came in, little humanoid things, and they were tearing up the store, and they could speak some English, and they wanted me to do stuff for them, and I look around and I see them crawling on the shelves and basically intentionally doing pranks and killing each other by accident or not, I'm gonna do what they're asking me to do.
I guess that's fair.
You know what I mean?
But she doesn't like. I guess what bugs me about that scene is she doesn't seem like concerned at all. She's like, "You want another? Okay, pour."
Well, it's
like,
because she's so emotionally damaged from having her dad stuck
that
in
or
the chimney
they,
for
that
a
or
week.
they look better than the normals that she usually has in at night. Trying to think what else I want to talk about.
What about the pool scene?
What about it?
Just the whole thing about the.
I was like, oh, okay. When that came up, I was like, oh shit, it's about to get real. Like that's the worst case scenario for a situation like this.
Okay. Did you catch the stop motion animation part
Which part?
when they're walking down the street in the group away from the pool?
I mean,
When
I
they
think
show
so.
them enter the town and
Yeah.
they're all kind of like walking on the street. That's I believe that's claymation.
I think a lot of their movements when you see them walking by themselves, where you can see the whole bodies, is all claymation.
Yeah.
Because for the time period, like that's what it would have been.
Mhm.
So, I thought the effects in this were fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Everything from just like the cocoons to
Mhm.
the puppetry and
Yeah.
And I talked to my wife a little bit about this because she's the expert. But I don't think it was Henson Company. I think it was Creature Shop.
Yeah.
So, but
Henson
still,
wouldn't make something like that.
I mean, I don't know. Like they've made some weird stuff.
Well, look at the Dark Crystal.
I've never seen Dark Crystal.
That's okay. So that's another okay. So
I know
Have
of the
you
Dark Crystal.
have you seen any posters or
Yeah,
anything
I've
from
seen.
the Dark?
I know enough about.
I
haven't seen
feel
it,
like-
watched it.
I feel like if Henson was involved, I feel like if Henson was involved, I feel like, oh my god.
It's all right.
Anyway,
I am actually going to clean this up a bit. So
yeah,
don't worry.
no, it's
I've
it's
got all
fine.
morning.
If Henson was involved, the puppets would have looked like the vulture-looking things from Dark Crystal, I believe. I
Okay.
don't think they would have looked like the humanoid lizard bat ear thing that they would have that they came up with.
Yeah.
or what the original design was. I'm not entirely sure how that planned out. If it was to if they were to look like that from the beginning, or if that was something they came up with in just production meetings.
Yeah, I think that's probably something that changed throughout the course of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just looking something up quick, so I'll make sure I get it right. So Joe Dante, the director.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen Gremlins before, but I had seen another one of his movies. Do you know Small Soldiers?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one with the
Gorgonites and
the Gorgonites. Yeah.
Commando Elite.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still have the Gorgonite
Yeah.
in the other room there.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
need to
You
put 'em
do.
in here somewhere. In my new setup.
Yeah.
But so I watched that with my wife after I bought that.
Mhm.
What was his name? Oregon. Leader of the Gorgonites. It's Archer.
Yeah.
Archer, leader of the Gorgonites. I bought that and I was all excited because it's like the actual size of the toy in the movie. And my wife's like, "What is this?" I was like, "Come, let me show you." So that night we came home and we watched it. She's like, "This reminds me a lot of Gremlins." I was like,
Yeah.
"Well, it looks like it's done by the same guy who did Gremlins."
Yeah.
And it's pretty much the same movie.
It pretty much is, except instead of having mythical creatures from World War II show up, it was toys.
Were they World War II? I always thought they were more like Vietnam.
I remember seeing references to like bomber pilots in World War II.
Yeah, they make a lot of references
Gremlins
to
thing.
different war movies.
Yeah.
It's such a fun movie.
Well, it's the neighbor, the one that talks about Gremlins, like
Phil Hartman,
the neighbor, the one who's like, this is a Kentucky Harvester. This thing will never die. Like, this thing's a foreign piece of crap, like cheap foreign cars or whatever.
Oh, you're talking
and he
in
goes
Gremlins?
on his rant. Yeah, like at the beginning.
I thought we were still on Small Soldiers. You said neighbor.
No.
Phil Hartman? And then you started talking about the tractors. Like, wait,
yeah,
what?
like Kentucky Harvester. But he goes on and on about it because he did fight in a war, and he's one that brings up Gremlins without knowing about the Mogwais and all that other stuff.
Yeah, I've started this habit whenever they say the title of a movie in a movie. I just turn my mouth and say, roll credits. I get it from those CinemaSin videos.
Oh, God.
The worst of it was I watched, I don't know why, but it came on, so I was like, I'll watch this for a bit. Hot Tub Time Machine 2.
No, why?
Because I really like the first one. I enjoyed the first one. I was like, this is on cable.
I enjoyed
have
the
nothing
first
else
one to
to
watch
do.
it once.
Nothing else is on. I'm tired of watching Doctor Who right now. So I took a break and I watched Hot Tub Time Machine 2. So the big joke in Hot Tub Time Machine was Craig Robinson turning to the camera was like, it's some sort of hot tub time machine right into camera. So in this one, the three guys they meet Adam Scott and Jillian Jacobs from Community.
Yeah.
And they tell him Adam Scott like where they came from, and he tells his fiance, like, yeah, they came here in a hot tub time machine. Like those two came here in a hot tub time machine. She turns to the third one. She's like, "What? Did you come here in a hot tub time machine too?" And then all three of the guys just look at the camera for at least 3 seconds, and then just turn back to the conversation. And at that point, it was all downhill. It wasn't good to begin with. Like,
the first one wasn't that good.
I enjoyed the first. I went with the right group of people to see the first one.
Okay, well, yeah, I saw the first one, and it was good enough for me to see once. It was funny. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and say that it was a bad movie.
The best thing that came out of Hot Tub Time Machine was the fact that I got it autographed by Crispin Glover.
That'd be worth it.
Because everyone else, when he was at the event, which is a weird fucking event, like if you ever have a chance to see Crispin Glover live, proceed with caution because it's not what you think it is, and I'll go into that later.
Okay.
But everyone, like afterwards, it was an autograph session. So everyone had Back to the Future trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, he's only in the first one. I'm not going to get him to buy the. Like, one, I am not having him sign Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Because I don't have money to buy Back to the Future on DVD and Blu-ray because I'm in college and I don't have it.
Yeah.
And then they had Hot Tub Time Machine in the $5 bin. I was like, he's like the best part of that movie because the best joke in that is that you keep thinking that he's going to lose his arm and he never does until the very end.
Yeah.
And that's the best ongoing joke in that whole movie. So I was like, I'm having him sign this. And he looked at me like, okay, this is different. Thank you. So, all right, what are we talking about? Gremlins? Okay, yeah, that's right. Grab my buffalo. Shit. Okay.
Don't break your mic.
What else you want to talk about?
Well,
what else didn't we cover?
Okay, so you like movie scores, so what did you think?
Honestly, I wasn't paying that much attention to it. It's.
I feel like I feel like the score of this movie plays on the verge of being creepy.
Yeah, it definitely helps give it like that horror vibe, but it's not actually horror. Like I was watching it, but I wasn't paying super close attention to it.
Okay.
They thought of some creative ways to kill these gremlins.
Oh, of course they did.
And
because
I
how
love
else are you
that.
going to kill a ton of these things?
Yeah. Well, even in the kitchen. Like I love the setup of the dad's an inventor, and all of his inventions are weird and don't work unless you want to kill a gremlin. I was really hoping
What
they'd
was your favorite gremlin death?
Oh. Oof.
Here, mine. I believe it's either I can't remember if it's the blender or the juicer where the legs are sticking out of it and it's just like
that'd probably
spinning
be one of
around
mine.
and it's just like spraying out the green goop out the back. And I think one gets nuked in a microwave.
Yeah. I like the whole end sequence in the department store because it reminded me of another time and place. I was like, oh man, the way it ended in like the garden area.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah. that definitely took me back. I like the movie theater stuff too because like I love that they all just stop and watch Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah.
And start singing.
And they start singing
Hi-ho.
along. Yeah.
How did they get the rights to that? Like I was surprised because this is not a Disney movie.
No, it's not.
And they got the rights to that song, and I'm like, damn. But then I remember it's Spielberg, so that makes sense.
Yeah, well,
this is like a precursor to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where you get everyone.
Yeah, and
from everything.
I feel like Gremlins was kind of a test for him with that, because he successfully took these things that were basically murdering people all across town. They sat down peacefully in a theater without trying to kill each other, and watched a Disney film. And I feel, doing that.
So you think that was him being like, "Hey,
you can trust me with this stuff." Like you know, be like, "Hey, this movie, like these things are going to kill people, but the time that your product is shown, they won't be killing people. They'll be in their seats, eating popcorn, singing along to the songs." And I think that that's what made Disney and the other studios trust him with their product, because in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, he definitely to a point respected the established characters. Yeah. And the ones that he needed to use to be villains were just made up out of thin air.
Yeah. Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah, and the weasels.
The weasels.
You're gonna
you
laugh.
idiots!
You idiots! You're gonna die laughing. I took it away from you.
That's okay. That's all right. Remember me, Eddie? When I killed your brother, I talked just like this. I love that movie.
Yeah. So there was that. The way that the whole town startup thing at the beginning, like introducing the town and introducing the kind of like the culture of it, because they show the billboard of the radio host and he's dressed
Yeah.
up as Indiana Jones, which
Yeah.
would make sense because it's
It's Spielberg.
Spielberg. So I mean, there's that. But setting it up with what this town was like before everything hit
Yeah.
and everything, how did you feel about that?
I mean, I like the town as a character, and because it helps establish when these things start going out into this environment, who they're messing with.
Yeah.
So you've got the cops, you've got old lady who dies going up the stairs, and you got the neighbor. You've got all this different, all these different characters that you don't get too in depth for, but you understand where they are and what's going on.
Yeah. I have to say, what happens to the teacher makes me upset.
Yeah.
He did something stupid, but still.
Yeah. But science.
Yeah. Fortunately, it bites back.
Testing a hypothesis. And he was wrong.
It bites back.
Yeah.
You could probably draw a parallel between that and The Faculty.
Never saw The Faculty.
Oh my God, we're adding that to the list. You'll like
That's
The Faculty.
been on the list. This comes up like every third episode.
Okay, that's it. We're doing The Faculty next. That's gonna be.
Well,
The
next is your
Faculty-
movie.
Well, okay, fine. I'll pretend like I haven't seen The Faculty.
I'm making you watch New Year's Day for New Year's.
New Year's Day.
Yeah, or New Year's Eve, whatever, the holiday movie with all the different actors and the rom-com.
I'm confused.
Never mind.
I've never heard of that one.
It's one of those Gary Marshall movies. I'm cutting this out because I'm not making you watch that.
We'll find. Okay.
Yeah,
Then the next film, when it's your turn to watch something you haven't seen,
is The Faculty.
is The Faculty. And
My wife will be very
we've
happy
got to
with
find
that.
something for me so we can pretty much say like New Year, holidays over.
Yeah,
Like jump into something that is truly not holiday-ish.
I can think of something.
I've never seen 7 all the way through.
I've never seen 7.
Oh, okay, well, never mind.
I mean, we could just watch 7.
We could just watch 7. I know the ending though. What's in the box?
I don't know what's in the box.
You don't know what's in the box?
I know what's in the box.
Okay, you know what's in the box.
How? You know me.
I know.
Like, I know what's in the box. Let's
we all
be
know
honest.
what's in the box. Well, let's be honest.
Yeah. I still want to see it though.
The Gremlins would have put that in the box
Probably.
in the original cut.
I would love to see a version of this that's
Like an
a horror.
But see, that's the thing. I don't know how Gremlins could actually be taken seriously as a horror if it wasn't a book.
I mean, you do it. You can do it. It's in the way you shoot it. Like you don't have them die in gimmicky ways. Like have it be endless hordes. Like
I can't. But see, the thing is, like, I'll take it. You probably haven't seen this movie, but The Relic, or have I had
no.
you do that one for one of the episodes
no,
yet?
we haven't.
Okay. The Relic is the last good, true monster movie
Okay.
without having it being a franchise. So I'm not including King Kong. I'm not including Godzilla.
Okay.
I'm not including all of the classic like monster movies, like anything that has to do with vampires or mummies or werewolves or anything like a werewolf. Well, this is kind of like a werewolf, but in a different way. The Relic has to do with this like fungus stuff that this guy ingests, and that's as far as I'll go. But there's this like monster dog thing that winds up in the Natural History Museum in Chicago.
Okay.
And it kills off the staff. And there's like a city thing going on, and a bunch of people get trapped inside with this thing, and it eats people and all this other stuff. And it's, to me, the last good original thought for storyline monster film.
Okay.
With the Gremlins, it wouldn't work. And for me anyway, because with the Relic, it's a big thing. Like it's a little smaller than an elephant.
Yeah.
It's big, you know, like, but it can still get down a hallway. But it's still like it's big enough to fill the whole hallway. The Gremlins are too small. And I feel like it would come off as like The Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Was a good indie horror film.
Yeah.
Evil Dead 2 was a complete failure. But it was done so seriously, but it was so corny that it got a cult following for being funny to watch.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have happened to Gremlins if it was shot as a serious horror film.
I mean, no, well, possibly, but I think there's more going on with Evil Dead that we can get into it in another episode.
Yeah.
I feel like what the Gremlins if you want to do it horror, have you played the original Halo?
Yeah.
Picture them like the Flood, like never ending, just multiplying no matter where you go. There's these creatures and you can't get away from that.
They need to look different for me.
I don't know. Like the Gremlins themselves or the...
Yeah.
I don't know.
They need not to look like goofy little green aliens.
You do a little bit more variation on them.
Yeah.
Like so they don't all look the same.
Yeah.
But I think there's a way that you can do it so that they're creepy.
I'll put it to you this. Have you seen Creatures? Or
No.
Okay. It was a film in the 80s with these tiny little groundhog alien-looking things that could shoot like spines out of their back. Okay. They were weird, but they were scary.
Yeah.
Because they had glowy eyes, sharp teeth for mouths. They were familiar, but they were still enough off that it was kind of like it was creepy. But what they could do was scary.
Yeah.
Having like tiny little 1.5 foot tall little lizard people with the skin and the fact that you can see belly buttons, like it's silly. Well, with the big floppy ears, I feel like if they were be more threatening, they would need to be not as goofy looking, I guess I could say.
I'm going to prove you wrong. Okay?
With what?
We're going to make a short with creatures that are like Gremlins. Not going to be Gremlins, but like small creatures, small monsters.
Yeah.
What have you. I'm going to write something, and it's going to be creepy.
No, I'm not saying it can't be done.
You're just saying it can't be done with a gremlin.
If you were to take the Gremlins from Gremlins and take those props and make a serious horror movie out of them, it wouldn't work.
I think it would if you don't have them be like Gizmo at the beginning. I think Gizmo makes it impossible for them to be so scary.
Okay.
It's like...
So you're talking about context.
Yeah, it's a lot more about context, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, I think you could make them scary. I think you don't have them stop and watch a Disney movie.
Or drinking at a bar.
Or
Swinging from... not drinking from a bar the way that they were.
Yeah.
Like
not
forcefully
like
taking...
rounds.
Yeah, like forcefully taking it.
That's another problem, too. Like, how are they paying for this alcohol? She's like...
Stolen money from the people they killed.
So these things are smart enough to know that they need to steal money?
Of course they do.
Oy vey.
I'm just saying that because you're asking that question.
Okay.
I completely agree with you with how silly that
now,
thing
in
is.
Gremlins 2, without going in the detail, do you learn any more about the creature's origin?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No. It pretty much picks up like a couple months or it picks up a couple years after the first one.
Okay.
And the Gizmo gets reunited with the son working at the center, and all craziness breaks out. I don't know if it's the same actor, but the grandfather from the Munsters...
Okay.
The one that looks like Dracula.
Yeah.
Okay. It's either him or an actor that looks like him who has his own TV show in the building of where this happens. So at the same time you have these gremlins like taking over this tower, you have this guy who looks like the grandfather from Munsters walking around helping the two main characters fight them off. It's a very silly movie.
Yeah. Man, it's got a great cast though. John Glover, Christopher Lee.
Oh no, it is. It is a great cast.
The old Asian man from Gremlins.
Mm-hmm.
You know the guy, Zach Galligan, was at the local mall recently doing autographs
Why would he be there?
because that's where his career is at.
To go to the Scotland Mall?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
Yep. People went. I didn't care because I'd never seen Gremlins. So
Yeah.
now that I've seen Gremlins,
You probably would
I'm
have
still
gone.
good. No,
No.
I'm still good.
Yeah.
Probably still would have stayed home and saved my money.
Yeah. It's one of those movies that my wife can't watch it all the way through.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It upsets her too much.
Because
She likes Gizmo.
okay.
And she hates how he gets treated by the other ones after they pop out of his back.
Oh.
Because it's for her, it's one of those things where the movie loses her when the son can't properly take care of him. Like, it sounds really simple.
Yeah.
When you really think about it, the responsibilities of taking care of those things really isn't that complicated.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
why
really
is
not.
this so hard?
Because
And-
Corey Feldman messed it up.
Yeah, was it even then? Like, the father knows that he doesn't like bright lights, but yet he doesn't stop the whole 20 seconds it takes for the mom to get the camera out and take a picture in a dark room, and then he goes into the bathroom with the thing and the son turns on the bathroom, the light in the bathroom. Like, it's not that hard
Yeah.
not to do those things to prevent it, and that's that's where it loses her.
Yeah.
And I mean, she really, when she gets past that, she finds it funny, but she likes Gizmo too much
Yeah.
to see him get bullied by the
So-
other
that
ones.
sounds about right.
Yeah.
My wife just loves the whole thing. I don't know why. We didn't really talk about details as to why, but she enjoys it. I think it's just something she grew up with.
Same
So-
here, and that's why I like it. I mean, it's a fun movie. It reminds me of sitting on the sofa when I was like 7 years old, back in Alton. You know, watching it on our, I don't know, like 28 or 32-inch tube TV.
Ugh. Oh, those things were heavy.
Oh yeah, they were heavy.
All right. Got anything else?
I'm trying to think of something that we mentioned before. Oh, so how would you rate this as an actual holiday movie?
As a holiday movie?
Yeah, because you said before.
Oh yeah,
about
because this
Die
is a
Hard.
holiday episode.
Yeah. And what did you think of the use of Christmas lights as means of death?
Definitely helps the case for
Yes.
making it a holiday movie.
Yes, it does.
I would say slightly less of a holiday movie than Die Hard.
Okay.
Because with Die Hard, the whole plot revolves around this Christmas party.
Yeah.
So it brings in a reason for it to be Christmas.
Yeah.
Here, all this could be happening just any night that the stores are closed. Like,
Could it be though? Because the reason why he bought it was because he wanted to get his son a Christmas present.
could be a birthday present. Could be an Arbor Day present. Like,
Arbor Day.
could just be that he wanted to buy his son a present because he's out of the house so often. He's out
True.
on the road.
True.
Like, I don't think it being set at Christmas is fine, but I don't think it needs to be
Okay.
set at Christmas.
I have a counterpoint then for Die Hard.
Okay.
Why does the party have to be a Christmas party? Why can't it be a end of quarter?
It has to
party?
be a Christmas party.
or a end of the financial year party where the company did well.
It has to be a Christmas party because John McClane's coming in from New York to visit his family on Christmas.
It could be their anniversary and he wants to try to make up.
Damn it. I don't think you're gonna have a big company party for anything besides holidays.
I don't know. Back then, they did parties for like end of financial year like that, like
Yeah.
big. And to be honest, a building like that, they're not going to be open on the weekend. They're going to have the security guard down there. That could have been a Friday evening during the summer. That could have been any Friday evening during the summer for the building to be that empty.
Well, it's still under construction.
True, at the same time.
Yeah.
But those buildings, when they had a floor done, and by federal standards, if they were on a floor high enough, still,
Yeah.
still being under construction, you could start having normal operating days
Yeah.
within the lower floors.
The point of the matter is, like, like you can take the holiday aspects out of a movie like this,
Yeah.
and you take the holiday aspect out of Gremlins and out of Die Hard,
Yeah.
and it still works.
Yeah.
Like there can be a million different reasons why there's a party
Yeah.
in John McClane's there, or a million different reasons why the dad buys a gift
Yeah.
for his son. Something like Home Alone, like they could, like, even there you could have the family leave him for summer vacation.
It's really tough, though, with Home Alone.
It is,
And I'll explain how that one's different.
because everyone else in the neighborhood is gone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that would only happen
Yeah.
during one time a year, especially in a neighborhood that's that affluent.
Yeah. God, I love Home Alone.
Yeah, same here. Now that's a true holiday movie.
Yeah.
That's a true.
Do you ever play the
Christmas
Home Alone
movie.
drinking game?
What?
The Home Alone drinking game?
When do you drink?
Anytime anyone gets hurt.
Oh God, no.
It's bad.
Yeah,
It's
you
bad.
you end up about as dead as the robbers in
Yeah.
that one. But yeah, no. So okay,
Yeah.
so you would put Gremlins just below Die Hard as a Christmas movie.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think in Die Hard there is more of a reason for it to be set at Christmas than in Gremlins.
See,
The justification, it's easier to justify the reason for Christmas being there in Die Hard than it is to justify it in Gremlins.
I put them at the same level
Okay.
because
I mean, it's not like
yeah, no, I know.
it's very close.
You're talking like on a scale from like 0 to Christmas movie, where let's say 0 is
On a scale from The Grinch to Buddy the Elf, I'd say it's a
okay. No,
It's an elf
Hang
okay.
on a second. On a scale from the Grinch
The
to Buddy
Grinch.
the Elf,
the
Grinch
Grinch.
Stole Christmas,
The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. Like,
and Buddy the Elf.
yeah, like Grinch being
Where does
no-
Gremlins and Die Hard fit between those two movies? Because I don't think they do.
No, I'm saying like Grinch not being for Christmas at all, like no Christmas. Grinch representing no Christmas at all because he hates Christmas. Okay.
Okay, I was going
Stay
to go a
with me.
different way with this,
Stay
but
with me.
I'll stay with
Okay.
you, and then I'll do my scale.
And Buddy the Elf being like, yay, Christmas all the time.
Okay.
I'd say it's. I don't have a joke here.
It's fine. It doesn't need to be a joke. It's a scale.
It's about I don't know. It's in the middle.
okay. Here's what. When it comes to a scale of being like a Christmas movie and a non-Christmas movie,
Yeah.
so I'm going to take The Expendables
Okay.
as like a non-Christmas movie
Okay.
because it's not. There's nothing referencing Christmas at all in that movie.
Okay.
It was the first movie I could think of that didn't have to do with Christmas. That's why I'm saying that. So any movie that has nothing to do with Christmas, no reference,
Okay.
not even set during winter,
Okay.
okay? And then you've got like the movie Santa Claus,
Okay.
okay? Or Buddy the Elf, okay? Or just the movie Elf in general. Where those two lie, okay? So bottom is a 0, 10's at the top. Gremlins and Die Hard to me is like a 4 on if it's a holiday movie.
Yeah.
Like it's
Where would you? So Die Hard's a 4 too.
Die Hard's a 4.
Okay. I'd
Now a White Christmas is like an 8. Because because
Do you want
we
to go down
talked
this
about
road
this.
with me? You want to go down this road with me again?
No. Because no. Here, the reason why is because we did talk about this.
Yes.
Because a lot of the movie doesn't happen on Christmas.
Yeah.
It has to do with a setup for Christmas. Like the movie starts on Christmas in World War II,
Yeah.
and then it does a lot of
It- it-
monologues.
it does a
in
lot-
between.
It
During the year.
bookmarks.
Yeah.
It bookends the movie with
Yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah, but the last half of the movie has to do with getting set up for Christmas. So to me, that makes it an 8.
So for me, I'm still going to say that's about a 6.5.
That's fine. That's fine.
Where I would put Die Hard at a solid 6. No, maybe 5. 5 and 3 quarters.
I don't think those movies should be that close. I really don't.
Okay, make them 4. I'll take them down to 4.
Okay.
Is that better?
Yeah.
All
Well, however, it's
And then
separation.
anything Shane Black will be like a 5 because everything he's done is Christmas.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for Predator.
Yeah, because to me the whole thing with movies that are set around Christmas, and I feel like Die Hard, a lot of people use that as an example of, like movies that happen around Christmas that don't really have to do with Christmas.
Yeah.
And so people who don't really like Christmas movies gravitate towards those kind of movies to watch for Christmas because it's, oh, yeah, I'm definitely in the Christmas spirit. I'm watching Die Hard. A movie
Die
set
Hard is
during
such a
Christmas.
good movie. I think we might have a special
It's a
episode coming up.
It's a good action movie.
It's a good action movie.
That's set during Christmas.
And I think the setting of Christmas just adds to it, though.
Like Gremlins.
Like Gremlins. Yeah. I think the Christmas setting adds more to Die Hard, though. In my honest opinion.
And I'm not in that camp.
Yeah.
That's okay.
If you were to sit me down in front of the Christmas tree and say, okay, you have to choose from one of these 2 movies to watch every Christmas for the rest of your life,
You're gonna pick Die Hard.
I'm going to pick Die Hard.
Yeah. And you want to know?
Now, if you were to
pick?
sit me down and tell me I have to watch between Die Hard 2, Die Harder, and Gremlins 2, the new batch, I'd probably pick Gremlins 2.
Do you want to know what's funny?
What?
Gremlins 2 has nothing to do with Christmas.
I know.
Yeah.
Die Hard 2 does.
Yeah.
And I'm still choosing Gremlins 2 over it.
Okay. And I am a bigger fan of, and there's a buddy of mine that I used to talk to a lot, Tully, if you're listening, this is towards you. He hates Die Hard with a Vengeance because it breaks that theme of happening during Christmas.
Yeah, but isn't it like 4th of July?
It's the summer, so it doesn't matter when it's happening.
I wish they would have stuck with that. I think that's what they need to do to bring the franchise back. Is
I
go
just think
back to the Christmas
franchise
setting.
needs to Die.
Hard.
It
No,
needs to go.
I'm ending
Like,
the
it needs to
podcast there.
stop.
We're done.
No.
No more episodes.
No. Because other people have made that joke too.
Yeah, well, they weren't me.
They weren't you. True. But Die Hard with a Vengeance is my favorite Die
Yeah.
Hard.
My brother has never seen Die Hard. My 16-year-old brother has never seen Die Hard.
Well, technically, with the ratings, he shouldn't.
Oh, that's one thing I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Let's talk about the ratings because Gremlins is responsible for changing the whole MPAA.
Yeah.
Between Gremlins and Temple of Doom,
Mm-hmm.
like this is why we have PG-13.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of surprised it took this long. Like Temple of Doom, I can see causing it with the Kalema,
Yeah.
like ripping the heart
Pulling
out.
dude's heart out. Yeah.
Yeah, like that is kind of frightening for a kid.
Yeah.
Gremlins, like you get a little bit of human blood in this, but it's mostly gremlin stuff, so it's not even red.
It's more like you go to like a comic book movie nowadays, and it says like comic violence or like
mischief
violence or something like that. Like this movie was purely like fantasy violence or just like comedic violence. Because I mean, these things die. There's green blood all over the place.
Yeah.
And they tie up the dog. The dog lives, but they tie up the dog.
Yeah.
In Christmas lights.
Yeah, like glad Spielberg pushed for it because
Yeah.
he's kind of responsible for the PG-13. And I'm kind of hard pressed to think of a movie of his that hasn't been PG-13 since
Yeah.
or R. Like I know he's done a lot of R stuff,
Yeah.
like Saving Private Ryan and the BFG.
I still have to see that.
It's not rated R.
Yeah. I know.
Imagine if it was though.
The title would mean something different if it was.
Big fucking giant.
Yes.
Ugh.
But but yeah, it's just this is one of those movies that if I want to watch something that's not really a legit Christmas movie, but it still has to do with the holidays because of the setting. I'll watch Gremlins.
I think the
of it.
holiday set movie that's like the sub-holiday genre,
Mhm.
like Die Hard and Gremlins and Lethal Weapon and Shane Black, like anything Shane Black.
Yeah.
I think that's just my favorite genre of movie.
Because crap happens during the holidays.
Yeah, like
It's
Die
not
Hard.
like stuff stops.
Die Hard is fantastic. Like I will watch that every year.
Yeah.
Independence Day, I'll even throw in there because as much as that we're like it's in the title, like you take away the 4th of July from that, like you lose the speech, but you still have this alien invasion coming in.
Yeah.
So like even that is just like the holiday's there and it's important to the plot, but it doesn't need to be like
It doesn't really need to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that might just be my favorite subgenre. Like when we did the 48-hour film fest in Pittsburgh, like I really wanted the holiday horror genre.
Yeah.
And we didn't get it.
No, we got witchcraft.
Thanks, Chad. Like one person in front of Chad. Like I knew we shouldn't have sent him up. We know for next time.
Yeah.
But we knew like if he screwed it up, we could just blame him. So that's why we did it. So because I'd feel bad blaming Devin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Both friends of the show. If they listen, they should let me know.
Exactly.
But neither of them have done the hot pepper challenge.
No, they haven't.
Has anyone?
I have no idea. Still have nightmares over that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. As much as I do as people professing Die Hard to be a Christmas movie.
Do you really not think it's a Christmas movie?
What I find funny is the defensiveness people get about it.
Like I get it. Like if you don't want to, like if you'd rather watch like White Christmas or Year Without Santa Claus or Elf, I get it. Those are Christmas movies.
Yeah.
Those are full-on Christmas movies.
Yeah.
Like even Hallmark Channel, those are Christmas movies. You want to watch a Christmas movie and you want to watch those?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Not my cup of tea. Completely fine. Like let me have my Die Hard. Let me have my Batman Returns. Let me have my Lethal Weapon.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
I just find the hostility around it to be really interesting.
Yeah.
Just the defensiveness
Some
of it.
people are just set in their ways.
Because I don't hear a lot of outcry about people being offended that people think it is.
Yeah. You know what would be interesting? If I can pull this off in the next 2 days, it'd be amazing.
What?
We should get my 16-year-old brother to watch Die Hard. And then see what he
Is
thinks.
he mature enough to watch it?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what I want to do if we do that.
Okay.
I want him to watch the first one.
Yeah.
And then I want him to watch Die Hard with a Vengeance.
What? Okay.
The third one.
Yeah.
Okay? Where it's not set around Christmas. And then I want us to have him watch the second one.
Okay, I just said I'm going to do this in 2 days. 3 movies is a lot.
No, it's not. They're not that long of movies.
Yeah, well, I've got
They're
a lot of shit to
classic
do in the next 2 days.
They're classic action films. They're short.
Yeah, but still, I'm hard pressed for time.
You know what? Another reason why
I haven't done my shopping yet.
Another reason why I find it funny that so many people take it as being a Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's in Los Angeles.
What does that have to
I'm
do?
not saying, okay, but prior to me finishing this thought, okay, people that experience Christmas in climate where it's not truly quote-unquote winter, like we considered up here in the north-ish region of the country, it's hard for me to see a landscape that still looks like it's early September or like early June, late April, and think Christmas.
You see, for me, that adds to the comedy of it being a holiday movie. Like just the joke of, oh yeah, it's Christmas in LA. So you have like Let It Snow playing in the soundtrack, and
Yeah.
like it adds to the irony of, yeah, it's Christmas,
But
it's like 80 degrees out,
exactly.
warm and sunny. No snow on the ground. I just broke my chair.
And some other things.
Yeah, that's fun.
Uh,
All right. Well, on that note,
everything's okay. Nothing.
everything's fine. I just scared the shit out of myself. All right. So I guess if I had to grade Gremlins,
Okay.
give it a letter grade, I'd give it a B plus.
Okay.
No, wait. B minus. I'll give it a
Yeah.
B minus. I don't want to be too generous.
Yeah.
But
Here. So prior to your chair breaking,
yes.
I'll just get out real quick. What I was trying to say is that it's no offense to them in the southern areas where they have nice, warm Christmases. I'm kind of like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone 2.
Yeah.
Like, do they even have Christmas trees in Miami? Like, that's my thought whenever I see like a warm climate Christmas.
Yeah.
Like and to be perfectly honest, it's because when I was 8, so from the age of 8 going forward, I lived in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So I'm used to having, hey, it's Christmas. Guess what? The high today is 28. Or, 32. And it really hasn't always been a white Christmas, but there's always that genuine, realistic possibility.
It looks like it's going to be this year.
Exactly. So to me, that's that's Christmas.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why I kind of have but I do like the fact how they did put in Run DMC's jingle holiday song
In Die Hard?
in Die Hard
Yeah.
at the beginning. Because that made it fit. Like, that really says, okay, Christmas in LA. I'll go with this. I'll go with this. It's an action film. And then they get in the tower and they start doing things. And I'm like, they only made this a Christmas film so he could tie up that one guy in garland and put a Christmas hat on him.
Also, if it's not a Christmas movie, like if it's not a holiday movie, then you miss out. If you take Christmas out of that, you miss out on Alecman. Now I have the machine gun. Ho, ho, ho.
The fact that he can't do a proper accent in that movie kills that joke
What
for me.
what accent? Like,
He's trying to do some type of either American or European
No, he's
accent,
not.
and he slips in and out of it constantly.
I'm watching Die Hard tomorrow, and I completely disagree.
He is trying to do an accent in that, and it doesn't work. I'm not taking anything away from his acting ability. What I'm saying is that he was he is a great actor. He really was a great actor, okay?
Yeah.
Really, really was. He does a horrible job trying to do a fake accent in that movie.
Oh, you're talking about throughout the whole movie?
Yes. It fluctuates horribly.
Doesn't though.
In some scenes, it's like an American accent. In other
He
scenes,
does an American
it's
accent one time in that movie, and it's when he's pretending to be one of the employees.
No. Watch the film.
I'm going to.
He slips in and out of an accent the entire time. The accent he's doing doesn't exist because it's a mishmash of everything.
Well, his name's Gruber, and he's not German at all. So I think that maybe that's where your issues are coming from. He's completely British. I don't think it.
Have you seen Die Hard with a Vengeance?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
What was the nationality of his brother?
Spoilers. He's British too.
No, he's not.
He's not.
No.
We're gonna have to get back to this at some point. Like, we will have discussions about this in the future.
Former KGB.
Okay. All right.
Not British.
That doesn't mean they're not from Britain, though. That doesn't mean they weren't raised in Britain, though.
Oh, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Watch the movie. His
Their name's
accent is
Gruber.
horrible.
They could have lived in Germany.
True. Half of Germany was part of the Russian bloc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still doesn't explain why they're British, but
Exactly. You're arguing against your own thing.
I'm not arguing that. I'm arguing that his accent does not fluctuate. I'm not arguing that it makes no sense for the name to be Gruber.
Horrible accent in that movie.
Yeah.
And I truly feel like it's because he needed money and he had to do a stupid American action film.
I mean,
in his mind, not my mind, his mind.
You shouldn't speak poorly of the dead, man.
I'm not speaking poorly of the dead. I'm speaking realistically of the dead.
Yeah. All right. Well, for You Have to Watch This podcast, I've been Alan.
And I'm Ryan.
And we'll see you next time.